already thinking about it, not sure where they want to go. Is the Gragas something that they want to try to pick for themselves first? Do they ban it out so SKTelecom can't get it in the first round? We're going to have to wait and find out because they are just letting that clock tick down.
What about Bang? Of course, there's been plenty of AD carry bans towards Bang, such to the point that we saw 4 AD carry bans and a misfortune pick from Bang in his Game 2 against Samsung. Nidalee's going to be banned against Lyra. Hecarim's a big pick to talk about. Ixu in particular has always been a noted Hecarim player. Back when they had 2 top laners in 2015, CV Max, their other top laner, was a Hecarim only in solo queue. So they've always been known for the Hecarim top, and we've seen so much success in both the top lane and the jungle recently in LCK that I have to think SKT will heavily consider a red side Hecarim ban.
Yeah. I think Ixu was the first person to bring out the Hecarim tops in the summer split.
We saw it from the jungle, from the likes of Peanut and stuff.
Oh, we're not going to see it today.
No, and this was one of the picks actually that Ixu actually played it against SKT in the previous matchup between these two. So SKT will not forget. They'll ban away the Hecarim, which has risen in priority as that flex pick.
It was against Duke's Aurelia, I'm pretty sure, which is a pick that has really fallen out of contention completely in Korea.
The interesting thing about SKT's rise is they've made a big digression. On 6-13, we saw Duke playing the top lane carries and we're like, okay, they're going to set up around Duke. Even though Duke's still playing Gangplank, they've shown less priority around setting up Duke, and in general, Duke's been on either Gangplank or tanks. So they've reined back on the Aurelias, they've reined back on most of the carry tops, just looking for the Gangplank, and it's been just about looking for the more reliable Trundle picks, and in general, looking for less of setting up the 4-1 split push for SKTelecom. So final bans come through. There will be just a single AD carry ban in the Ashe. Lissandra banned away, and that means Gragas available and first picked by Afreeca.
All right, so they do go for that one for their first pick. And now with that Ashe gone, you can only think that it's either going to be the Ezreal or this Sivir that's hovered right now for Bang, which if the Sivir's picked up, Songyun probably more than happy to grab Kalista for himself.
And that's the fun thing about Songyun is, and one thing that I thought about coming into this pick and ban is that Afreeca are one of the few teams to have a negative win rate on both Sivir and the Ashe. The utility carries haven't worked for them, whereas Songyun's always been an excellent Kalista player, one of the few people still playing it this season. 3-1 on the Kalista, and there is the outside chance that we'll see another one of those pocket picks like the Lee Sin. Wow, that's a lock-in for the Kog'Maw.
That is a very aggressive lock-in. Kog'Maw coming back in. This is a pick that we've not seen in Korea for a very long time. We actually had, I believe, a Kog'Maw pick earlier today in the EU LCS. I didn't get to watch that game. I think it might have been the Fnatic series. But wow, really just going for that pick, and then Trundle's going to follow. We'll see if that's going to be for Snowflower. He's played a bit of the Trundle support, or if Ixu's going to rock that one. They probably want to get a little bit more information before they fully commit that Trundle to a lane. We'll see what SKTelecom wants to go for, but this is surprising to say the least.
Yeah, and how will they comp around it? Because they have the Gragas, good for disengage, good for engage, but when you see a Kog'Maw, probably going to be a disengage heavy comp. Lulu support is certainly a thing. Lulu mid lane is an outside chance with the Lulu changes.
35% increased attack speed on that Kog'Maw.
Oh, baby.
That just sounds absolutely filthy. And man, I'm sorry, Songyun. I thought I had you figured out. I thought it was just going to be the Kalista straight and easy. But lo and behold, Kog'Maw is returning to LCK. I mean, we had Corki just yesterday, so why not bring back the Kog'Maw? We're just going to go for the spring pick.
I mean, Songyun Korea is 7-4 on Kog'Maw. It's one of his better picks. Obviously, hasn't been playing it recently. It's our first Kog'Maw game of LCK summer. Wasn't a big pick in spring either. SKT, the moment you see a Kog'Maw suddenly engage becomes the massive priority. You need to find a way to close distance on that Kog'Maw. They had the Sivir in the first round. Now they're going to go for the Gnar. Likely to be Gnar versus Trundle, unless we do see something like that Lulu and Elise, which is, again, one of these standard strong jungle picks for Blank. Shen is still available. Opting into the Gnar vs Shen matchup's not ideal, but you can just stack the armor and feel good. Probably not going to be a Zed, but...
A blind Zed would be a very bold pick there from the side of Mickey. I'd really love to see that one locked in. But of course, whenever Faker has last pick, you just have to go for something very safe. Yasuo.
Oh, there's a chance, Achilles.
We've seen Mickey's Yasuo before in spring. It didn't go so well.
And it's not necessarily going to be Mickey's Yasuo. It could be top lane Yasuo like we saw from Expression just yesterday.
Yeah,
it's always been a good lane matchup, but no, they digressed from there. It's going to be double AD and the Shen, so they're going to go for very much setting up around turrets. Mickey on the Varus is an interesting one. We saw some massive carry performances from Mickey on the Varus last season, but it's not been a big pick for him this season. And now action onto SKT. Definitely not going to pick up Aurelia unless they want it in the mid lane.
I mean, Faker's done it before, so why the hell not? But okay.
Well, Afreeca showed a new champion,
Faker.
And you can look on Faker's face. He wants to show something as well.
You're messing with me now. He's trying to get me super excited. Akali, I mean, when's the last time we've seen Akali in professional play anywhere?
Very minimally, I would say, Achilles.
I can't think of the last time that we saw her in any region, but it will be Anivia picked up here for Faker. So going for something that he has shown, of course, bringing this out into the Vladimir matchup earlier on in the split.
And Faker, honestly, Anivia's been his most consistent champion this season. Obviously, mostly been against Vladimir with that counter lane matchup, but 5-0, 14.3 KDA. So the most impressive performing champion has been the Anivia, but it doesn't create any extra backline threats. It doesn't help in potentially closing the distance on this Kog'Maw. Now, if the wall comes behind the Kog'Maw, it might force a flash, but it's not a super engaged champion from the mid lane. And SKT try to play their own game, and Afreeca really setting up for a strong mid game from the Varus Kog'Maw under enemy turrets.
It seems like they're just going to go for the chase potential that they have with this squad. The slows coming out of the Gnar and the Tahm Kench, on the hunt to just help them disengage or really just run down this squad from Afreeca Freecs and then look for a pick with the Cocoon, the Tongue Lash, and that Flash Freeze. So that seems like that's going to be the playstyle here from SKTelecom. Of course, with Faker on this Anivia, you'd be damn sure it's going to be a bloodthirsty performance from him. Always going for those big trades in the mid side, and he's going to be looking to assassinate that Kog'Maw and Varus as quickly as he possibly can.
A lot relies on Duke and Blank to actually be the ones to close the distance onto the immobile Varus and Kog'Maw. Duke in particular looking for those big Gnar ultimates, going to do his best Someday impression, because Someday's definitely been on point with those, and Duke has been excellent on the Gnar as well.
Yep.
Really exciting to see Afreeca bring out something new. They've done this consistently, and they've done it again.
Yeah, big tanky frontline for Afreeca. If they can get those guys stacked up, it could be bad news for SKT, but let's go ahead and get right into game one. Afreeca Freecs versus SKTelecom. All right, good way to start things off. The Mountain Drake. And you can see and hear that the SKTelecom fans are out to play today. Had a bunch of signs up earlier on showing support for SKTelecom, Bang especially, having a lot of fan signs out there.
SKT's popularity knows no bounds, Achilles, we know this. They have Faker on the team, which is a pretty good start, and then given all their success, fandom has come thick and fast for this lineup, but we're all focused on the Kog'Maw. How are Afreeca going to get this Kog'Maw through the early game? His trading in lane is just fine, but you can see on your screens they're going to be looking for a lane swap to the top side of the map. It's a very good caster Jun coming through there.
That it is, I'm sure. He's flattered by that. It's better than when the players flip between Amumu, Tarek, and Trundle, because it kind of just implies that caster Jun is somehow Trundle. Doesn't really make sense to me. He's a very handsome guy. Trundle's not very handsome.
It's true. So I'm going to actually gone
maybe by a troll standard, but
offensive with his Keystone Masteries, with the fervor for battle. Bang traditionally has gone for Warlord's Bloodlust on Sivir, and a 2v2 laning phase has never been a strong point, so has gone for that ability. The moment you get some points into your W, you do heavily outrange the Sivir as Kog'Maw, so the trades after the early laning phase can be good. One of the reasons why you look for a lane swap is that Kog'Maw struggles to actually push a wave. He's decent with the extra attack speed on the W, but not fantastic. So safer just to opt out of the early laning phase with a lane swap and then reconnect 2v2 when you get some points in W.
I'm just wondering where he's going to go as far as the build path. I mean, do we, because again, I didn't see the build that we saw that was earlier on in the Kog'Maw picked in EU. So I don't know what the standard would be considered for Kog'Maw in this day and age. I mean, we saw the Corki yesterday from Fury completely going differently in that build path. The Hextech Gunblade with the Trinity Force into a Duskblade projectile. It was just very intriguing, and I want to see if Songyun is maybe going to differentiate, go off a different path here, since it's been so long since we've seen this Cogmall.
I'm heavily expecting there to be a Blade of the Ruin King and other attack speed items. Something like a Hurricane makes a lot of sense on the Cogmall. So I don't know if we're going to see craziness. It doesn't scale particularly well with AD or AP, so something like Gunblade. Triforce Cogmall was a thing of the past, and there is an outside chance of it, but I feel like it's been heavily disincentivized recently. Blank's in the mid lane.
Yeah, Blank coming in on a Mickey. He has that Ghost Bob, still has Flash available, so we'll just get that Summoner spell away from him. Blank's going to be happy with that gank, only had to use the Repel to close the distance, so not expending a whole lot, and still alleviate a little bit of pressure here for Faker as he cleans up these minions underneath the tower, and will get himself a very slight CS lead over top of that Varus.
Predictably, the lane swap, full swing of things. They will just trade the turrets. Afreeca have been a team traditionally to not try to trade 2 turrets, but actually opt into the 2v2 laning phase after the first turret goes down. So we'll see if that will continue. For now, SKT are trending towards the middle of the lane. They're unsure of where Afreeca are going to send their forces. We can see they will be on the bottom side of the map, and maybe it'll be SKT stopping there from being any dragon priority for Afreeca by matching the 2v2 on bot side.
Really going for it. Duke using the teleport to get himself up top. We'll find Ixu there, and Bang and Wolf will be coming into that 2v2 lane against the Cogmall.
Another reason why, actually in this case, SKT are probably prioritized is that you can see on your mini-map, Afreeca clearly have no turret behind the immobile Cogmall, and Blank is on the Elise, one of the champions with the best ability to gank in a long lane. The follow-up CC from the Tahm Kench is there as well, so Afreeca are overextended in bot. If Blank can work his way down there, definitely some good options. Here we go, look at this trade.
Bang getting jumped on. Wolf's going to devour him. He's going to take a bunch of damage himself, but he will be able to get out. But it's going to be a nice trade there from Afreeca Freecs on this bot side. Really well-placed pillar from Snowflower.
2 points in the Biocane barrage, so suddenly Bang has to really respect lane spacings. Without Elise on the bot side of the map, she is on her wolves right now, so perhaps we'll see Blank work his way down. But yeah, in trades, it's just the range discrepancy. There's really few options for Bang in that trading situation.
Afreeca do have that pink sitting in the river, so Blank would have to come over that. Not sure if he can close the distance. He's going to wrap around, maybe be able to sneak down through the jungle as Lyra is moving up towards the top side as he goes for his wolves. So Blank actually is getting that stealthy workaround. They haven't seen him since he was at the Raptor camp, so they have no idea where he's at right now. And Afreeca Freecs are still playing so far forward. The pillar already used here. Exhaust going down onto Songyun, taking a bunch of damage. Here comes Blank. He flashes away, but he's going to get devoured by Wolf. Actually, they might not even need to cast that one, and they don't. It's going to be First Blood coming in for Blank. Just nice wraparound, finds the kill. And that's First Blood going over to SKTelecom.
Price of opting into that 2v2 with Harassed. Push the lane. They had the wave in a really bad spot, and honestly, that is a pretty academic play by SKTelecom. Good pathing from Blank, as you mentioned, but should have been able to see that coming from Afreeca, shove the lane, and then just exit and try and find CS elsewhere, because giving a kill over to this Elise is not ideal, given that you have these good laning matchups for Afreeca that can obviously be snowballed the way of SKTelecom.
Yep. And overall, just a good trade. Not only getting the First Blood, but also matching the Summoner spells. 3 for 3, Wolf using both of his, but also getting both away from Songyun. So no movement speed from the heal, no flash for that Cogmall. He is going to be in such a precarious spot where no matter where he goes, unless he has very ample ward coverage. You can see a Chain of Corruption was thrown out by Mickey trying to create a pick onto Faker in that mid side, but did not connect. Now Lyra standing on a ward's not going to be able to find any action in that bottom side either, so Bang perfectly safe. Oh, actually, well, they're wrapping around behind the turret. He might actually be in a bad spot. Hasn't hit 6 yet. But Snowflower's level 3 would be very squishy. Wolf coming around the sidelines. Meanwhile, on the mid side, Kuhn going to land on a Mickey. Flashes out. Faker's going for the play. Doesn't look like he's going to get this one. Now Wolf kind of smelling some trouble. The jungle's going to start walking back.
Doesn't
have slowed up. Yeah, the pillar's there. No flash, no exhaust. Looks like the Tahm Kench might be going down. Blank trying to get there in time. Has his shield. Comes up now. He's going to devour the Trundle, get some damage in. Wolf looking like he's still going to fall, and he does. Snowflower comes up with a kill, but Bang and Faker have arrived. Lyra in the front line, going to take so much damage from that Anivia already. Gets locked up. Snowflower getting stunned. He's going to go down. A second kill over to Bang, and now Songyun just trying to kite back as best as he can. The boomerang comes back through on the backswing, but it's not enough to finish him off. But overall, it's going to be a 2-for-1 pickup here for SKTelecom.
Just felt like Afreeca were baited by first the Tahm Kench gray health and then the Anivia on low health opening up. Had egg available also, Faker. Wasn't popped either in that situation, but the moment that SKT blew the flash of Varus in the mid lane, it should have been predictable for Afreeca that Anivia was going to respond first. Elise was going to walk down. She just showed herself in mid lane, and they were wailing away on a Tahm Kench without any damage. It was Gragas and Trundle, and the Gragas didn't even have explosive cast, so this was always going to take an age to kill a full health Tahm Kench with all three abilities. He's level 4, so he clearly does have a point in his E. And honestly, Wolf just leads them on a merry chase. Afreeca overextend heavily in this situation, and that's why you see SKT come away with the kills. Afreeca's happy to go in aggressive. He has that passive. There isn't the damage available, and it's only now that Mickey and Ixu respond. They don't even need to draw in Gnash, so they use more resources and teleport, and they get less out of it.
Okay.
Okay, then.
Well, we just come back in off a replay, and Faker gonna get a solo kill onto Mickey. Didn't have any summoner spells available still, and Faker just lands up that flash freeze and takes him out. Like I said, there's going to be a bloodthirsty play coming out of this Anivia. Faker is showing up already in the first 9 minutes, putting 2 kills on the board. We'll take a replay. Oh, Mickey. He just catches a glimpse of him.
Look at how much burst. Thunderlord's proc in there does 60% of Varus' health in one rotation. Solo kill from Faker. It was Mickey the one that was in the ascendancy the last time these two teams met, but it seems like it's going to repeat spring season where Afreeca won in the first round robin, and then SKT brought it back in the second round robin.
Yeah. Well, it's still game 1. We have potential to go to 3, so don't want to discredit them this early on, Papa Smithy, but just, guys, if you're playing in your dynamic queue, and you want to recall, and there's a turret 5 feet away from you, just walk to the tower. Just recall underneath of that. It'll save you from situations like Mickey just experienced right there.
It'll save your life, is all you probably need to say, Achilles.
Potentially. I don't want to give that full disclaim. I don't want to, I have to disclaim some liability on that. You might still die. They could dive you. But you have a better chance.
Now you can see SKT just picking up multiple objectives on the map. Mountain Drake going down. They have the Elise, who can obviously take Drake. Only the minor amount of damage, given the Spiderlings will tank it up.
Yep.
Gnar has pressure in the bot side. Tahm Kench and Sivir have pressure on the top side. This is a complete pressure map for SKTelecom, and Afreeca just operating with the minimum of resources because SKT are dictating to them in every lane.
Yeah, doing what they can, but unfortunately it's not a whole lot. Lyra hasn't really been able to find any lane ganks either. Mickey gonna get stunned up, but Faker's pretty low on mana. Chain of Corruption's gonna get thrown out, but Faker of course still has passive. He's just gonna ghost as soon as he sees blank in his peripheral vision. Now Mickey has to get shoved off that tower. Duke roaming up from the bottom side in this Mega Gnar. Might be looking for a dive. Throws out the boulder. It's not going to connect. Blank actually takes a good chunk of damage. Lyra could throw out the explosive cast. Could try to lock him in. There it is. Will find the kill. Knocks Faker in. He's going to take a tower shot. That will be the egg coming up. Duke's here, but he doesn't have a way of crowd controlling them away from this egg, so Faker is going to go down. 2 kills picked up from Afreeca Freecs. SKTelecom just sticking around a little bit too far forward in that mid side.
Yeah, the moment that Duke made his salvo and backed away, so should SKTelecom, but instead they get aggressive. They know Mickey doesn't have flash, and perhaps that baits them into some overly aggressive positioning. You can see Blank frustrated with the misplay on your screen, because that's going to be a couple of shutdowns, extra experience over to Afreeca, because they were behind in level. Yeah, this time SKT use more resources and also heavily lose the trade. So gives Afreeca a bit of a window back into a game that felt like it was going to be a standard SKT early game snowball. Yeah,
and that's one of the big things that you have to worry about when you get that lead is complacency, thinking that you can basically play God. And SKTelecom show that they are very much mortal, at least Blank and Faker are.
Worth knowing that the Kog'Maw that we saw today was in the mid lane from Power of Evil.
Ah, okay. That seems like a very Power of Evil thing to do.
Exactly. He brought that one back. So 80 carry Kog'Maw, the build path is a road less traveled, but we see it on your screen. It's gone for the wit's end as a rush. Now, this will lead to significant magic resist shred, but on this particular team comp, they have very low magic damage, so not necessarily the synergy between a champion like Elise or Anivia available for the Kog'Maw. As a one-item power spike, given how cheap the item is, though, it's very difficult for bang to deal with the trade damage, because you're not going to have any magic resist this early as a Sivir. Some AD carries run attack speed, mana regen, no magic resist at all.
Oh my god, look at Lyra taking so much damage there. He's going to have to back off of that ward. Gets chunked down below 50%. Blank with that power that he got. The Runic Echoes with that, oh, I'm about to hold that thought.
Faker.
Actually, Faker, yeah, going low. Has the Ghost of flashing forward from Mickey. Here comes Wolf. Not going to be in a position to really get on top of that Varus, but really closely fought there by Faker. Almost getting taken down. Of course, Egg still not available for him, so would have been a kill.
It's about 50 units away from acquiring the range for the last auto attack that would have killed Faker. Didn't have Egg up.
He just always holds that flash for as long as he possibly can.
Yeah. Unfortunately, Mickey flashed after him, was still out of range. Crazy to see SKT playing with fire. They looked so strong and so calculated in the first 5 to 8 minutes, but the last 5 has been all Afreeca.
Yeah. Hextech Revolver, that's what I was going to say there for Blank. I couldn't remember where I was going with that one, but has the Hextech Revolver, so it's got a good amount of damage on that Elise, which allows him to chuck out Lyra.
And the Revolver's all about getting the Proto Belt and getting into melee range of this Varus and the Cogmore. They needed the engage. SKT, you know, one thing I asked them to do this series was to draft the Tahm Kench to try to use some of those comps that rocked it. They went for the flex pick Tahm Kench in the first round, but when you take Cogmore, suddenly Tahm Kench as a champion doesn't have that many tools to deal with a Cogmore just because he finds it very difficult to close the range. So they decided to go for the Gnar, they decided to go for the engage. So they set up Duke to be the one basically to deal with the Cogmore because they'd already stopped Wolf from being able to draft something like Alistar. I mean, Wolf this season, 8-0 on Alistar quietly in recent games. Alistar, great champion against the Cogmore, but with the Tahm Kench, someone had to take it, and that ended up being Wolf.
Yep. Sorry, Lyra, you're just a second too late. Not able to take away that blue buff. And with the jungler down on that bottom side, Bang and Wolf feeling comfortable to go ahead and push forward into that top lane. They take down that tier 1 tower, so that give them a little bit more of a lead. 2,500 gold on the board in their favor. Plus Dragon.
It's worth noting that this Wit's End build, powerful early, second attack speed item coming in early as well, probably going to be the Blade of the Ruin King. These on-hit builds are very powerful in the mid-game, which is when Afreeca hit their power spike with the Mana Moon, the Muramana being transformed, being able to set up a strong siege with mixed damage. But the late game, which was already looking shaky for Afreeca, when you go for this on-hit build, there is no way for Afreeca to have a comparable late game to SKTelecom with a Nivea and Sivir hitting their power spikes at 3-4 items. So mid-game phase, 10 minutes, we need to see Afreeca opening the game up or they will be outscaled by SKTelecom.
Well, they'll be looking for it. The kills that were essentially handed over to them by SKTelecom are helping them not fall too much further behind. Abyssal Voyage coming in at this mid-side. Faker got to take a hell of a lot of damage. Devour is there from the Tahm Kench to keep him safe, but Afreeca Freecs are getting a hell of a lot of damage in onto the tower. Almost take it down, but the wave isn't there to finish it off, but it'll be a good amount of damage, and now they don't have to worry about that Abyssal Voyage for quite some time. Duke is going to be coming down into this lane for the engage as he's ready to transform into that Mega Gnar, but Afreeca Freecs backed off enough that he'll dissuade him from going any further, and he's just going to go straight back up to the top side.
And Duke is the only siege buster. Afreeca doing exactly what you expect they would do with this comp, setting up around turrets with blue buff and one item on the Varus. And Tahm Kench needs to stay back to stop something like the Chains of Corruption being a pick tool for Afreeca, so he's not going to be launching himself in the backline. It's all on Duke to disrupt the oppressive siege coming through from Afreeca, and that gives Ixu free time on the Shen to be able to just push in the top lane. It's probably going to have to be a roam from Duke. We are, of course, on 6:13 with the longer teleport timers. The chance of setting up an aggressive ward, getting a 4.5-second channel into a Gnar ultimate is just too many variables. Very difficult to pull off. So let's see if Afreeca can set up defensive vision around the river and stop that big Gnar flank.
Well, so far they don't have vision of the Dragon Pit even, and that's going to be a second one going over to the side of SKTelecom. Ocean Drake to match their Mountain. Cloud will be our third and final Elemental Drake. We'll see that one in 6 minutes, but SKT still picking up these objectives. So last things that we saw taken was that tier 1 on top for them, and now the Dragon to add to it. Afreeca Freecs unable to chip down that tier 1 in mid. If they could finish that off, that would help them out a lot. Open up the map, allow them to get some deeper vision, more aggressive in the river, as you stated. But so far, they've been unable to make that happen. Nice ward in the Raptor Pit will spot out Wolf and Blank. Be able to clear out that other one, and now we'll just have people starting to stack up around this mid side. We can see Bang running down the lane as well, so might have a counter push here from SKTelecom, trying to get some damage in onto the opposing tier 1 mid.
Second completed attack speed item for the Kog'Maw is the Hurricane, so bit of a homebrew item build coming out from Sangyun, but Hurricane very, very powerful because you're applying the Bioarcane Barrage. The Magic Resist Shred does apply to that percentage maximum health damage, so that at least has some synergy for the Kog'Maw. But definitely this build, better if you do have other magic damage threats on your team.
Yep. Oh, Abyssal Voyage has been used here by Wolf as they come down to this bottom side, trying to cut off Lyra, who goes over the wall. TP coming in from Duke. Doesn't have much of a Gnar bar built up. Now Stand United used onto Sangyun. They're going to engage. Wolf already chunked down. Has to use the shield. Gets knocked into the wall. Going low. One more hit will take him out, but it's not going to happen. Duke not ready to transform. Has to flash over. Looks like he will make it out in time, but SKTelecom, they're going to have to back off of this. Pull the trigger a little bit too quickly. Don't have the setup for it. Afreeca Freecs are starting to get really tanky.
And also Afreeca Freecs, we mentioned that the build path is in the ascendancy right now. Still just one item, 1.5 item on the side of SKT. So unless they get the instant deletion pick with something like the Flash Frost from Anivia, and they actually will struggle, because if Afreeca can kite back with their massively long range on their 2 threats, there is a chance that SKT can just be poked down and taken out one by one.
Yep. Afreeca are going to move forward in this mid side. They finally get the turret. That's going to set them only 800 gold behind, so it was looking really good from SKTelecom, but a few flub ups in that mid lane, and suddenly Afreeca Freecs are just hot on their heels.
Afreeca will have some struggles trying to close the game out. The SKT wave clear, Anivia and Sivir are famous legacy strong wave clear champions, so they will continue to push in. And then the more that Afreeca push in, the more aggressive the wards with the teleport flanks can be for SKTelecom. So a bit of a conundrum in that situation. They don't necessarily have a backup win condition like stacking the Drakes, given that they have none so far in this game. So Afreeca are in a good spot, but we're 10, 15 minutes away from SKT really hitting high gear with their items.
Yeah. Well, Manimmune's been completed there by Mickey. See how long it takes him to get that into the Muramana. The damage will really start coming out from that Varus. Sangyun completes the Berserker creep, so full attack speed so far. Let's see what he wants his next item to be. Could be a Blade of the Ruin King, go for more percentage HP damage. Or maybe something a little bit more fun like the Trinity Force, but I doubt it at this point. Wouldn't go so well with the build that he's got.
Now, Afreeca just pushing up all lanes. The moment that they commit to actually sieging down a turret, let's say the mid lane in a turret, I really want to see them pink ward on all fronts. They need to really prioritize denying there from being a strong teleport ward from Duke, because even though, as I mentioned, the timer is longer, if Sivir pops her ult at the same time as you see the channel coming through from the Gnar, there's so many different things to respect that there is still a world when Gnar gets a 3-4-man Gnar ultimate. And given how squishy these 2 threats are, and remember, it's literally only Kog'Maw and Varus doing damage on the side of Afreeca. One of them gets taken out, this team comp falls apart.
Yeah. Well, Snowflower moving in for some aggressive vision, does get that pink ward down, but it's going to swiftly be cleared out by Faker. He'll be able to escape with his life power, so he'll be thankful for that at least. See Ixu still trying to split push down on that bottom side, moving the wave up as close to the tier 2 as he possibly can. He's trying to catch up to Duke, but Duke has just had such a firm lead in CS this entire game.
This is just going to be Snowflower putting down a pillar and looking for some damage onto the turret. Sangyun can outrange anyone on the side of SKT. The poke is good from Afreeca.
Yeah, teleport comes through. Blank's already chunked down a little bit. Duke just transforming into that Mega Gnar. Won't be able to answer, and the teleport's not available for quite some time either. Nice interrupt on the recalls there.
Range
from
is
Sangyun.
so obnoxious.
Ixu, though, he's cut off. That's going to be the Cocoon coming through. They go in. One more hit will do it, but Bang just can't get in range. The Boomerang not long enough. He gets chunked down yet again, but that was almost Ixu dying, but both the summoner spells at least are going to be down. Still has Stand United available. Could use that in desperation, but he will be able to recall, and the rest of the Afreeca Freecs will back off.
Yeah, this does end the siege, though, Achilles.
Yeah.
It was looking really good. We saw the massive long-range poke from the Varus Qs and Sangyun with the Kog'Maw ultimate. But Ixu got a bit too cute looking for an engage around the backside of the turret, which means they have to hang back, gives a bit more time, takes some pressure away from SKT. Next Drake spawns in 15 seconds. It is only a Cloud Drake, but if you stack 4 Drakes, pick up the Elder Drake, then there's going to be a team fighting advantage already for SKTelecom. That will definitely put it over the edge.
Yep, here we go. Spawning up now as SKT does look for some more vision. Onto Lyra, don't want to follow up onto that one, just trying to protect that ward as long as they can. But we still have Ixu up in that top side splitting. Duke is going to go match him, try to build up that Narbar to be able to teleport in if needed. It looks like it very well may be. Blank, though, chunked down to about 50%. That's a bit rough for them to try to start up this dragon, so it looks like they're going to feel back. Lyra, though, he walks back into that flash freeze. They'll be able to body slam out to safety, though, the pillar there as well. Create another structure to separate them. So SKTelecom just poking back and forth, really losing out in those poke trades, though. Blank, fortunately, does have the life steal that he gets off the Spiderling, so he's going to regenerate back up to about 70% or so. Still in a rough spot. Afreeca, they push forward, and they're going to go for this dragon.
They're funneling in. They notice the Narbar is now not available for Duke. He's exhausted for the next few seconds before he starts building up rage. He hasn't started channeling a teleport. Here it is.
There it is. He's coming in. No Narbar whatsoever. Coming in on top of Afreeca Freecs, who have peeled back up the lane. That will be the dragon control here from Blank. He's able to execute it. Snowflower up the front side, going low on mana and HP, but they just blow off Wolf instead. Duke still just desperately trying to transform. Blank goes in, but he's got nowhere to go and no health. But somehow he will never mind not make it out. The snipe comes through from Sangyun, and Duke now all on his lonesome above Afreeca. They just collapse onto him. That's going to be 3 kills picked up. The dragon, the only thing that SKT was able to garner, and Afreeca Freecs, they have their eyes set on this Baron with just Bang and Faker left alive.
I mean, Mickey and Sangyun do so much Baron damage. Both of them have percentage HP mechanics, but Faker is high health, has both summoners. Magic Resist Shred from the Baron might be important. Lyra's low as well. Sivir pops the ult. Here we go from SKT.
Really rough. Wolf is coming back in as well. Has the Abyssal Voyage. Here he comes. They're going to try to interrupt this as best they can. If not, take this one away. Mickey getting chunked out, but the Baron's going low. It's almost smiteable. And there it is. Lyra will be able to take it away. Bang on the backside. Gets a flash out from Mickey. But Sangyun comes in, trying to get him. And now Wolf just trying to slow him up, get Bang to a safe spot, but the pillar comes through. It locks him in. He has nowhere to go. The body slam comes forward. The spell shield not going to do anything. Bang will go down. An extended 4th kill coming in for Afreeca Freecs, and SKT losing the Baron. The only thing that they're going to get is that mid-tier 1 as a consolation prize.
I think SKT was surprised by the damage the on-hit build from Kog'Maw was doing, because they don't have a plan to actually close the distance on Mickey and Sangyun. Every team fight from Afreeca is all about these long-range threats. Sangyun free hitting with the Biocane Barrage. Mickey free hitting from the backside with his spell rotations. And Duke, he came into the fight exhausted. He built up the rage, but was taken out in mini-Nav form anyway. If you enter a fight as SKT and you don't have a plan to close the distance on Varus and Kog'Maw, you done screwed up.
Yeah. Man, what a fight coming out here from Afreeca, swinging themselves into a 1.2 thousand gold lead. Now with that Baron buff, they could definitely capitalize on a lot more. Of course, wave clear, as mentioned before, is really strong from the side of SKTelecom, but even then, getting through these Baron-empowered minions is going to be a task.
And you have to play to your item build. You look to the item builds on SKT, we remember it was Proto Belt second from at least, not something like a Randuin's. It was Black Cleaver, and now the Randuin's is completed for Duke, but they don't have a lot of magic resist. They don't have multiple Randuin's. So with the build that you have, you can definitely get picks. You can put down Pink Quartz, Anivia Flash Frost, Proto Belt into the Cocoon. That's where you can definitely delete someone and 5v4. Be in a good spot to teamfight if you're SKT. But looking for a 50-50 around Drake and then not being able to close the distance or have the tankiness to get on Kog'Maw and Varus was just a pure mistake in strategy from SKTelecom.
Well, now, SKT in a bit of a bind. Freaks are pushing up into this mid side. Of course, with that Varus, they're going to have plenty of line wave clear, so they can burn through these minions. SKTelecom's Ixu as well splitting in that top side. Faker's going to go answer this one. Leave a Bang to clear out with the ricochets in mid. Afreeca Freecs right now in a pretty good spot where they can juggle back and forth between this top and mid. Ixu, of course, can stand united and teleport available to join his team at any moment. Afreeca Freecs, they're just going to be able to push in, get down that tier 2. They are stretching this as best they can. Duke has a Narbar built. He's coming in from behind them. They might be looking for a flank right now. The rest of SKT not really close, and Afreeca Freecs, they're going to exit up towards this top side. And now Duke transforming. He's going to be exhausted after this, so Afreeca just buying themselves precious time. It's working out so well for them. Now they're looking for their second tier 2 of the game. They're going to be able to take this really quickly.
This is nothing SKTelecom can do. It's only Duke. Remember, they go in for the flex pick Tom Kench. Tom Kench has no answer from support or top lane onto the Kog'Maw, so they put all their eggs in Gnar to be the one to answer this Kog'Maw. And so far, Afreeca have been able to play around the Gnar bar really well.
Yeah, you see they lock down Ixu in multiple ways, but he just doesn't take any damage whatsoever on that Shen. They're really struggling. SKT at this point need some sort of Hail Mary to get themselves back into this lead, or just hold on tight and hope for a just crucial engage from Duke, but he just hasn't been in a position to do so. Afreeca have just been baiting out his Mega Gnar so well.
They're playing with fire though. There aren't many pink wards down from Afreeca. If SKT, the moment that Afreeca drop pressure,
It's literally one.
exactly, SKT can put down some wards, and when we see the inevitable return around these inhibitor turrets, there should be some good teleport wards for Duke. So, hasn't found them recently, but there are still some limitations in the approach as items continue to come through. As that's a Rage Blade from the Kog'Maw.
Okay.
The new Rage Blade.
Okay.
I looked at the item and I'm like, that's not a Dusk Blade. It kind of looks like a Dusk Blade.
Yeah, they look very similar, but this one definitely looks a lot angrier. So yeah, Rage Blade going to be coming through. So Sangyun just going for all of the stacking on hit effects and attack speed. So very unique.
Yeah, last time Kog'Maw was in the meta, it was the old Rage Blade that did have a lot of synergy. It still provides the magic damage on hit, which synergizes very well with the Wit's End that he'd already picked up. And he does double hit on the hit effects. The old Devour effect was shifted to the Rage Blade, so suddenly the magic damage from other sources like the Wit's End are going to be hitting doubly. And magic resist is now a necessary stat for everyone in SKT, especially Faker and Bane, because with no magic resist against the flat shred from the Wit's End and just the massive on-hit damage, they're going to explode.
Yeah. Well, Duke completing a Guardian Angel so he can at least sort of Rambo dive into the backside. Try to make a play and then come back up if he does get popped. But this is a very scary position to be in if you are SKTelecom.
Every second auto attack from Sangyun will proc 55 bonus on-hit magic damage. That's the 15 from Rage Blade and the 40 from Wit's End, and also 4% of maximum HP. So that is completely purely magic damage. There's no attack damage whatsoever on this build from Sangyun. So something like a Negatron Cloak on both Faker and Bank is a necessity.
Well, see if they can do anything. Right now they're posturing up around this dragon. This would be fourth drink for SKTelecom. It's a second cloud. That extra movement speed could also help them out a little bit. Get around the map, get those wards down. They're going to start this one up. Struck down to half HP. Lyra's coming around the side. Stand United on him, but the dragon's confirmed. He's going to move forward, throws out the cask. It's going to knock him away. Wolf flashing away from that taunt. Nicely done. SKT going to be able to successfully disengage away from that dragon pit. Faker, though, he's going to stick around, try to get this blue buff. Might just be a little bit too greedy from him. I don't think he found it. No, Lyra was able to take that one away with a smite.
Yeah, trying to take the inside track to the mid lane. You can see SKT recalling. They're very out of position. They will get the home guard buff, but how much damage will be down on this turret before they get there?
It looks like it's a hell of a lot. Sangyun, of course, with all of that attack speed, just shredding this thing completely down. Duke coming around the side, but loses the Mega Gnar already, so yet again, not going to be able to get in there for quite some time to make a big Gnar ultimate play. I actually don't think I've seen Duke use his ultimate once in this game.
I think you're right. I don't know if he's actually been in a position to use it at all, and that's honestly mostly on Afreeca being smart at playing around the cooldowns and playing around the only threat to their backline, which for now is Duke.
Well, he's coming in on the backside, looking for that Narbar. I think a hell of a lot of damage from Sangyun, though. He's starting to build things back up. Cocoon lands onto Ixu, not necessarily the target that they want, but they are able to shred him down pretty low. Faker coming around the side, body slam connects onto him. He gets knocked in, but Wolf devours immediately. Chain of Corruptions will lock down the Tom Kench, but they can't capitalize on that one. Another Cocoon comes in onto the shed. Duke, three-man Gnar ultimate into the wall, and Mickey is able to flash away just in time. Has that Hex Drinker shield coming through to save his life. Meanwhile, they turn around. Yeah, Wolf goes down. They find Ixu on the side, but Faker, can he even finish him off? I don't know if he's going to be able to finalize that. Meanwhile, Sangyun coming in, finds another kill onto Blank, takes him down. Ixu does fall to Faker, but now Faker and Bang yet again are the only two members of SKTelecom left alive. The Baron's there. Do Afreeca Freecs, do they go for it?
Oh man, this build from Songyun is so smart, and it's only now that SKT are picking up Magic Resist. With no Magic Resist, this build is shredding their front line. It will shred their back line if they get in range. And even though Baron spawns, smart for Afreeca to back away, pick up some more items, and SKT in a bit of disarray. Now, Duke finally gets to the back line.
Yeah, this caught me so off guard. I wasn't ready for it, but he lined it up but just couldn't do enough with this.
I mean, the QSS was the pickup from Songyun, so he's able to back away and just watch Sung. He finally only now gets up his Biocane Barrage again, and with the Hurricane, all those on-hit effects get 100% efficiency. That's the thing that people forget with Hurricane, because you don't see on-hit builds, but even the side procs are shredding down the members of SKTelecom. They take the inhibitor, they back away. They're going to start to put some wards around the Baron. There's some good defensive vision available for SKT. And they need it, because the moment that we see this Kog'Maw free hit on Baron, it's going to be deleted.
I mean, I just think that going into game 2, for the first time in a long time, we're going to see Kog'Maw banned in LCK. Not something that I woke up and thought I would be saying today, Bob Smithy.
I think the ramifications are bigger than just this one game, because teams are drafting Tahm Kench in the first round, and Tahm Kench is impotent in this particular game. Afreeca doesn't have an Ashe that you can negate the ult of. Devour has very low value in this game unless you're devouring Kog'Maw, and then Afreeca have bigger problems because they let a Tahm Kench walk up to Kog'Maw.
Yeah, well, look at this. They're onto the Baron, and they are just shredding through this thing, even without a Mountain Drake. SKT going to pitch in, try to find the stop on this. Blank taking a hell of a lot, has to jump away with the Proto Belt, and Afreeca Freecs go back in. Ligera going to try to find this one. The Repel comes through. Can he get it? No! Blank will not be able to steal it away. Now comes down off that Repel, and he is going to get popped, knocked back in by the Cask, and Mickey is able to finalize the kill. The rest of SKTelecom trying to disengage as best as they can. Looks like they will be able to limp out, but not having Blank, not getting that second Baron of the game. Afreeca Freecs are completely poised to win this.
And this is nothing that the Anivia can do. Remember, the last pick was Anivia. Lane matchup against Varus, not that great, it's fine. He got a kill in lane, so he did his bit there, but against Varus, Kog'Maw, Anivia's just going to be completely outranged. So you come back and wonder why exactly SKT went this way when they only had Duke as someone to actually assault the backline, and Duke can't get it done.
No, he can't. Now Afreeca looking for a second inhibitor as they move up to this top side. Songyun is just shredding everything as he goes into that W. Inhibitor exposed, it's going to go down, and SKTelecom just can't do a damn thing. Blank coming back up. We'll be looking to land a very crucial cocoon, but even then the front line of Afreeca is just so huge. And unless they catch somebody that's Mickey or Songyun, they just won't be able to kill him.
This is what being outcomped feels like. And it took all of us by surprise. First AD carry Kog'Maw in so long. Calling him an AD carry, given that he's not actually building attack damage, is I guess a bit of a misnomer.
He's got a scimitar.
He's a bit of a marksman, I would say, in this particular game.
Oh, you just made Riot really happy. They're like, yes, he's using the term.
We copyrighted that one, yay!
It's taken so long.
But
we made it, boys.
I just love it, given the current meta we're in, where Tahm Kench is such an important pick. Tahm Kench impotent this game. Anivia, to a great degree, impotent this game. But this game in particular is not over until the Nexus explodes, because Afreeca 5v5 team fighting at 6 items, I still do not believe they'll be able to do that. So, again, they've got a lot of leads. They've taken down 2 inhibitors. They're in the ascendancy, but the game's not over till this Nexus explodes.
It's very true, but having 2 inhibs down is certainly damning for SKTelecom. Now losing their last outer tower. Wolf has to use the Devour there onto Faker. Wolf having a ton of HP, but very few resistances. Look at this, he's got a Warbox. And then just a giant belt and 2 cloth armors. No MR here on the side of SKTelecom. And Songyun is still just shredding everyone.
It's 3 inhibitors down. They're looking for the push Achilles, and this could be another Afreeca win. It'd be 3-0 on the season in game score between these two.
Really impressive from these guys. Now they're moving in. Nexus Tower is exposed. Duke not able to go in for the Gnar ultimate. Has to jump away. He's going to lose the Mega Form. Blank now going low. Has to repel up just to dodge that R from the Kog'Maw. Songyun's going low though. Can they find him? No, the heal and the Stand United comes through. It saves him at the last possible second. And Ixu isn't going to take any damage to be punished for that one. He see Wolf still getting shredded out, and SKT are just holding on by a thread, trying to make something happen. Duke desperately trying to build up that Narbar, has the GA back up and available, almost finds a kill on the Lyra actually. Now he has to retreat or else he's going to get popped. It's like he barely will get out with the GA still up. He can retreat back to the fountain, the mid lane, and him had respawn. Afreeca Freecs burn right back through that one, and they will be able to disengage. Duke, no teleport, can't flank them, and they're just going to basically get away with murder inside the base of SKTelecom as it is in shambles.
You can just tell that SKT are not prepared for this Kog'Maw whatsoever. The team can't let you know, but the lack of an Aegis this game is so important. You look at the lineup, and especially if you don't have the items showing, you're like, well, why would you build an Aegis? There's no magic damage on this side. Sangyun is doing 95% magic damage with this build. Corki might be 50-50. This is 95. Now, SKT are looking for an Elder Drake. It'll help them in team fights. Lyra's
really
there.
Crucial for them. Lyra comes in, but it's going to be confirmed by Blank, who's going to flash away immediately. And now the rest of the Afreeca Freecs are coming in. Ixu with a nice flash taunt. Not going to find anything, though. They go forward. Nice pillar there. Cass comes through, knocks back Faker, Blank, and Wolf. Wolf might just have to be the sacrificial lamb, but the flash is available. Ixu's still going to chase, but the taunt's not going to connect. Nice stun there by Faker. Finds two members who are both pretty low on the side of Afreeca Freecs, but now with 3 lanes of super creeps coming in, the Nexus is exposed, and SKTelecom are still in such a bind. They need to make this Elder Dragon work, and they need to do it right now, or else they are just going to lose the game.
But Afreeca are opting into fighting with Sangyun at no health, with no lifesteal, in the 90 seconds of power with the Elder Dragon. This is the one time in the game where you take SKT in a fight 9 times out of 10. So back away, shop, buy your items, wait out 90 seconds. You've got much longer than 90 seconds to finish this game, and the health bar on Sangyun and Mickey is far more important than finishing the game right now.
SKT miraculously holding on, but Nexus exposed. Top inhibitor going to be respawning shortly. It will be a slight reprieve for them. Even so, in such a bad spot. We're going to have our 3rd Baron of the game spawning in just 1 minute and 45 seconds. It might not even come down to that one. Afreeca Freecs might be able to close this out before that thing even comes into contention.
I haven't seen an approach to itemization and team comp this unique since perhaps the Juggernaut, which of course was the story of 2015, and Kog'Maw is the common champion between those two. But this item build and the way they're playing at Afreeca has been super interesting and impressive to watch. And it's out of nowhere. It's not like they alluded to this in any previous draft. You can tell that SKT haven't scrimmed against this from their item build and the final pick of Anivia. Now Afreeca, they're regrouped. They have only a 4,000 gold lead, but they keep Mickey and Sangyun safe. The damage will certainly be there.
Yep. Well, now Afreeca Freecs back into the base. Be looking to take out that top inhibitor yet again. Duke does have the Narbar built up, and he's looking to play forward, trying to make something happen here for SKTelecom. Xu not going to take any damage from that. Now the super creeps beating up at the inhibitor. Bot wave moving forward, mid crashing as well. Duke's just going to take so much damage as he transforms. Can he find a play? The flash is available, but he's just got no way to go in. Chain of Corruption locking him down. Devour comes through onto Silver, trying to keep him alive. Duke going pretty low, about to lose that Meganar. He's going to get popped. The GA will resurrect him, but it might be too little too late as Afreeca Freecs move in onto the Nexus. Blanks in the backside, trying to find Mickey.
Sangyun's free hitting.
Shreds through Duke, and he's looking to shred through the rest of the team. Blank's going to have his Guardian Angel pop, and I think this might be it here for SKTelecom. Ixu goes forward, finds Wolf. He will be able to get the shield Devour onto Faker, trying to spit him out to save his life, but it's just not going to happen. They find 1 kill onto Lyra, but it does not matter. Afreeca Freecs in 41.5 minutes will take down SKTelecom T1 in Game 1.
Amazing performance from Afreeca, and something new, something homebrew, something Afreeca, and this is what this team can do, and that's why it's so exciting that once again it's looking like they'll be in position to assault the playoffs. You think back to spring, the comeback trail, the 7-2 in the second round robin to make it, and then there's no other word for it. They choked in their first ever playoff match against Jin Air in the wildcard match. They've gone away, they've got more experience, they're more level-headed. I'd love to see them in the playoffs again, because you'd have to think that they're, again, the dark horse, and it's lovely having a dark horse in the league that's not just the Rocks Tigers, but having a team like Afreeca that on their day can beat teams like SKTelecom. They did it in the first round robin, and they just did it again.
Yeah, and they did it in such convincing fashion. Sangyun definitely got to be the MVP of that one with the Kog'Maw. 6-1-6 the scoreline in the end, 18,500 gold. And the next closest was Bang with 17.7. So just had a crushing defeat over SKTelecom. Faker only coming in at 15.1. That Kog'Maw just got rolling, and my God, it just stayed on top the entire time. That was just a beautiful performance by Songyu.
SKT always has an answer. You think of Faker having a massive champion ball. You think of the late game decision making that has been a trademark of this team. SKT, both in the drafting phase and the game, clearly from their items, clearly from their playstyle, had no idea what to do against this on-hit Kog'Maw build.
Oh my God. I'm shocked that Songyu actually didn't do the most damage, but look at that, 55,000 damage to champions in a 41 and a half, 43 and a half minute game. That's absurd.
That's just Varus things, though.
That's still nuts. Even when we've seen Varus numbers go to about 1,000 DPM, you know, it's not in that 55,000 range. That is he's really overcapping on that one.
Well, this game starts early, of course, 2 p.m. start here in Korea, but I think SKTelecom finally are awake and alert because they may lose another series to Afreeca Freecs.
Yeah, that would be pretty damning for them and really good for Afreeca and their playoff bid here in LCK Summer. See if they're able to close it out when we come back for Game 2. That would be a crushing defeat here for SKTelecom. We'll see what happens when we return in just a few.